Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Osiris at 15 Minutes, your girl, live on location. Okay, this week we are at the beautiful Avalon, which is on Vine. I think the address is 1735. Don't quote me. You can always look it up and Google it. And I have the amazing pleasure of sitting with Dr. Mario Deng, and he is the husband of Dr. Federica Raya, who is a complexity scientist. Dr. Deng is originally from the University of Munster in Germany, and he relocated, moved all the way to Columbia University in New York, and thus we have him in our lovely LA environment now, working at Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center and the UCLA Medical Center in Santa Monica. Say hey.
Hey, how is everybody?
Say hi, Federica.
Hi.
So let's get into, now I know you two, let's talk about your book first. You have a book out called Relational Medicine, a modern guide, I guess, to healthcare. So a modern way to discuss health there. I know you are a complexity scientist. And let's get into how you two met and how the two of you came together to do and write relational medicine. Now, I know, Dr. Deng, you were from the interdisciplinary studies for heart at the University of Munster, and then you went on to, were you the head of the cardiology department at Columbia University?
Well, I was hired at Columbia University for conducting and directing the research. And 15 years ago, we met in New York while I was taking care of patients with advanced heart failure and heart transplantation and total artificial hearts and left ventricular assist devices. While my practice was centered on the patient's perspective, I was not able to explain how the practice went. When we met, Professor Raya became interested in my practice, and since she was doing research in various settings of how education, how research is conducted, she became interested how modern medicine is being practiced, if it follows the basic idea of respecting the basic human right of the person in the illness condition to be taken care of, and asking the question, how can one make this accessible for the training of the future generations of healthcare practitioners?
Wow, that's a mouthful. Now, Professor Raya, how did you come? I have never ever heard, and I'm sure the audience hasn't either, ever heard of a complexity scientist. And I was intrigued to find out the kind of research you've been doing. And so our audience would love to hear a little bit more about that. I'm going to reach across your husband just to talk to you.
Thank you. A complexity science is when you look in, let's say, a conversation, right? And then you have, different, people talking, but you can't predict where the conversation will go, because all these interactions happen. And so the way to study systems like that are unpredictable, such as the weather, a conversation, the body.
And these interfere with how the person heals or how medicine is practiced?
So it's a way of understanding how to look at things rather than find one cause that can fix everything. Is a way of understanding that the situation is much more complex. There's always interactions among people, the environment. They all, co-create something new that needs to be taken into account.
Wow. So now the book, I'd like for you to hold your book up. It's called Relational Medicine, Personalizing Modern Medicine. So how does one, with modern medicine and so many drugs and chemicals that are being used in different medicines, and people are not getting the quality medical attention that they deserve, how does relational medicine in the modern day world, how do we apply that to things that are existing? You both can talk at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want her to answer it?
Yes.
Okay.
I first will tell you that my interest was to look at practices that were actually practices that do help a person who's lost after a very complicated and very complex journey to come back to their own life and own it. And we hear so much about bad interactions, people feeling they're left alone.
Like isolated.
Yeah, and I wanted to study a good practice because we know what's bad, but we don't know how good looks. So the interest in my research was to study those practitioners in high-tech modern medicine that they could do it, and how they really help and work with their patients and families to allow them to own their own life and healthcare decisions.
So a better quality for them, so they don't feel like, oh, I've been sick and now I have to get back into the routine of living a daily life, and how do I do all of that? Now, how did you two, what made you put your two brilliances together and do this book? What is your part in it, Dr. Deng?
I think from my perspective of interacting with patients who are in need of the most advanced of modern cardiovascular medicine, like heart transplantations, total artificial hearts, left ventricular assist devices, felt that the personal attention of myself, not only as a cardiologist, but also as a person in the individual encounter, is a key in order for the other person to own their illness condition, because they are allowed to be their own as a person in the process and have the guarantee of a trustful, safe, unfolding, continuous relationship. And the idea how that works, when you asked me first 15 years ago, explain to me how this practice that at Columbia University, at Münster University, and last Friday at UCLA is what patients and their families need and want, I could not explain it. And then comes the
And then he
research.
met the lovely Federica, who brought completion to his non-explanations of what he does.
That is right. That is right.
So now, how, the two of you, do you tour together? Do you go and speak at different things? Are you both? Do you work at UCLA Medical Center also? So what is a day like there for you when you get up in the morning, your husband and wife, and then all of a sudden you become Professor Raya and you become Dr. Deng? What happens during the translation of you two putting your heads together as a team versus being a husband and wife?
That's a good question. Especially at the dinner table.
Well, do you guys talk about work at the dinner table?
It happens a lot because it's this is a project that for us is very, very important, and so we're so excited and so passionate about it, and we talk about it very often also at the dinner table. No, but
I would say, we have a research protocol at UCLA that allows the audio and video recordings, if patients and their families are interested, of the routine encounters. Professor Raya has organized in the research lab between Graduate School of Education, Information Studies and Medicine weekly meetings where these recordings, everyone is invited, including patients and their family members,
wow. And
to
is that
participate.
in this recording that you do, and you have to get a sign up for them to do so?
Absolutely. Everyone needs to have signed consent, and patients and their families love to participate with the perspective of improving the communication to clarify the role distribution, that the healthcare professional makes recommendations and then empowers the patient to make informed decisions between the different options on their behalf in their lives. And that is what is elicited in various settings. Now you have to describe the way it unfolded in the inpatient encounters, then in the outpatient encounters, and then in the catheter lab to do endomyocardial biopsies, how to take pieces of heart in patients who need to have rejection rule out. And in those patients who grow up with a congenital condition, become adolescents and then adults, how it feels in their lives and how they make meaning of this. That's the kind of fundamental research that I would say we both feel is the core of relational medicine, the core concept of relational medicine being what we call the relational act, and to make the practice of modern medicine humanistically sound.
Absolutely. I think that people now, we're of a generation that when the word humanism is becoming more and more important, because so many people do feel like they're just a number. And if you don't have money in such a case, in most cases, people don't have the funding to be able to live the quality of life, or they're just not yanked from their lifestyle and then all of a sudden they're on some, machine or something like that, or sitting in your office during recording. Now, what I want to ask you, how did you guys meet Ava? How did you come to know Ava? Just so everyone out there, this event is called Heroes Ball. It's the first annual event done by avasheart.org, Ava Kaufman, who is a unique organization that provides funding, whatever they need to do. That means hotels, living expenses. They even pay gas, electrical bills for whoever can't afford it. And they have a team of people like Professor Raya and like Dr. Ding to help support them during these times. So how did you come to know her?
When it became clear that the concept of the safe space in the relational medicine practice needed to be also a safe space for family members of patients who, for example, after heart transplantation need to be for the next 3 months close to UCLA instead of going back to one of the 3 states where they come from. It became apparent that in this country we do have inequalities of access of care, in the sense that there are families who don't have the means to stay close to where they need to be in order for their loved ones to have a safe transition into the post-transplantation or mechanic support life. And Ava's beautiful vision after she had her own transplantation several years ago was to connect with our team members at UCLA to basically provide what is a safe space in a physical sense to be close to your loved ones, similar to us in the research of and practice of relational medicine, providing a personal safe space. In other words, a complementary concept where we feel both foundations, Ava's Heart Foundation and the Relational Medicine Foundation, are so much guided by the same vision that actually then links into the UCLA big guiding vision of healing humankind by improving health, alleviating suffering, and, that's so important, delivering acts of kindness one person at a time, which is so much more important than being the number 5 in the country of US News and World Report, number 1 in California, number 1 in Los Angeles. It is much more important to achieve a culture of this personal attention, of one person taking care of the other in a safe space.
So he's able to bewitch and charm, which in his industry, I think that's important, because people have to be kind of made to feel that what they're doing, it's important, and made to feel that they're important, because a lot of people lack trust. That's why I'm using the word beguile or bewitch, is something. It's not a fake thing, but the reason I'm using that word is because you have to be able to really help people understand that they're going to be well taken care of, and not just a number, and not just another incident that someone's handling at the big important UCLA. So we're going to look at your book one more time, Relational Medicine, Personalizing Modern Healthcare, written by Professor Federica Raya and Dr. Mario Ding. And I want you to hold the book up so they can really see. See that book? Can we see the book? Can we see this book? Yeah. And so that book, where can we find the book? How can we find out more about yourself and Professor Raya?
I would say the best is on Amazon, Relational Medicine. You just order it. It's available. Professor Raya's website at UCLA, my website at UCLA Health, where you also find the 5-year advanced heart failure report 2011 to 2016. Wow. I think it's all readily available, and then we would love to hear from you. I think our email contacts are in the
how can we do? What's the number that you want to give us some information you want to say to the public? Do you have a Facebook page? Will you be speaking anywhere? Are you doing any kind of speaking thing at UCLA in the future? And what would be the exact information? It would be Dr. Mario Ding at ucla.edu, or how does that go? What's the exact address?
Yeah, so the exact address would best be linking into the website, which is UCLAhealth.org.
UCLAhealth.org dash
Mario Ding.
Mario, Mario, Ding, Deng, for those of you who can't spell.
And then Professor Raya's website would be in a similar and analogous way. in order to not say it wrong, is
No,
at
that's fine.
gses.ucla.edu/directory/Federica-Raya.
Wow. That is a lot. Dr. Professor Raya, do you want to say something? She can do is laugh.
I'm just enjoying this interview very much.
It's fun.
And I actually thank you very much because it's really, I can see that when Mario talks, you get excited because it's exactly what I felt when he started describing his work. And I say, I want to study you. And I want to come and just, videotape all your practices. I want to see how you do this. So.
And it makes someone feel that they're actually getting a comprehensive understanding of exactly what goes on at UCLA, because for most people, UCLA is somewhere far away that only rich people go to. And when you hear about UCLA Medical Center, it's like, wow, it's UCLA Medical Center, it's Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. And most people don't know that UCLA is a basic medical center that's available for anyone to use.
That's absolutely.
So it's very important that they know of you too.
I think we're very, very much thinking that, let me say it for medicine and you for education, that UCLA is part of a public university that serves in healthcare the population of California and not the paying population of California. And for the education,
It's important. It's a mission of social justice for all. It's not for a certain kind of population. Absolutely. This is a beautiful, city with an amazing diversity, and we celebrate the diversity, poor, rich, all sorts.
Well, the fact that he's from Munster and you're Italian, I'm like, wow, this is interesting. You're German. So I think that's a great combo, and both of you, I love. So I'm so happy that these two found each other. We certainly need them. As a unit, we need them together on this planet, so it's fortunate that we have both of you. Dr. Dane, good luck to you. Professor Raya, and your husband, Dr. Deng, I'm so happy that we've had the wonderful pleasure of talking to both of you. And we'll see you soon. And don't forget UCLA Medical Center, also Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center, and both of you can go there, UCLA Medical Center in Santa Monica. Okay, we're going to say bye. 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 Hello, you guys. It's your girl, Osiris, again with 15 minutes to show. Okay, we are back with Tom Moan is his name. He is the Chief Executive Officer of One Legacy, which is an organization that is the largest organ recovery agency, serving 19.5 million, 200 plus hospitals, and 11 transplant centers. You also created some kind of float. So let's talk a little bit about how you came to be at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center and the UCLA Medical Center in Santa Monica.
Well, One Legacy, as you mentioned, serves all the hospitals in Southern California and all the transplant centers. We have 11 transplant centers. And we work with families who've lost somebody but want to make something good come from that loss by giving the gift of life. Organs, eyes, and tissues for transplant. UCLA is one of the very largest and best transplant centers in the entire country, frankly the world. And we work with them every single day on getting the gift of life to patients in need.
So you're on staff every single day at UCLA?
Well, no, we're actually based downtown LA. And we have our offices there, and we have offices out in Redlands and offices up in Bakersfield and all over, because we need to be where patients become donors in the hospitals and where they're in their communities. So we dispatch staff 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to respond to any referral of a potential donor, and work with the family who's lost someone to understand the loss, but how they could make something great come from it.
Wow, what a kind heart and what a great thing to do now. How did you end up from a college young man to big old UCLA Medical Center, Ronald Reagan Medical Center, running One Legacy? What led you into doing that? Are you a survivor, or is someone in your family a survivor?
Actually, I had no personal connection with donation or transplant in my life. After getting a degree in bachelor's degree in history, which makes perfect sense that I'm doing transplant now, doesn't it?
Wow. It does.
Yeah,
It does.
I appreciate the history that our field's gone through, but then I went on and got a master's degree in administration, focusing on health, and I ran a hospital worked in a hospital for almost 20 years, and got the opportunity to get together One Legacy, which had suddenly just become the largest organ recovery program in the world, and said we need to run it like a business, but a business with a heart.
Now, wow, what a key word, heart, is the matter here. When people think of organ donors, I think personally of ooey gooey Frankenstein, where Dr. Frankenstein is making, little parts and pieces to go. But what are the specific requirements for someone being a donor? How does a person donate their organs to your organization?
So the way that one donates is first, the easy thing for us to do is you go to the DMV, you check the box says I want to be a donor, you get the pink dot on your license, and you're a registered donor. And should something happen, should you live up to ripe old age of 80, 90 something, you could still be a donor. But if something happens earlier, you could probably donate more and save more lives. And when we get that call from the hospital, our staff is there, works with the family, consoles them, helps them understand the loss, but of the opportunity. And when they say yes, or the person's registered, and we start the process, we spend about 48 hours working to make sure those organs are perfect, that they're a perfect match and going to the right patient on the list, to the most in need, and our staff gets them out to the right hospital and right patient within hours.
Minutes or hours,
Within hours. A heart has to be transplanted within 4 to 6 hours.
After a death, after a person's expired?
After it's recovered.
I like the way he said. Notice he didn't say anything. I said the word death. He said after it's recovered.
Yeah.
After it's recovered.
Yeah, because actually we work with the families and the patients for a couple days after the death, but the patients are on ventilators and maintaining that organ function, so they continue to be able to get nutrition and get even better shape to help those patients who are waiting.
And then how are the organs, how do you guys protect them? I know that you probably have some sort of process that it goes through, but what keeps them contained so that they maintain the proper temperature, blood circulation, and all those things, I would imagine?
You asked some very good questions. That's a very sophisticated question. The one simplest thing is there's a what they call a solution that you put them in, called UW solution. They're flushed through them. They're put in this. It's kept at 4 degrees. But now we're in a whole new innovation. There are new pumps. There's a heart pump that UCLA has been working on a research project with called the Transmedic pump, that is actually keeping that heart beating on a pump with the patient's blood and other solutions to keep that heart perhaps even better than if we chill it down. And we're at a whole new age of transplantation because of it. So we are doing it the old-fashioned way, the way we've done it for 20 years, but we're also working with colleagues like at UCLA to make sure that we can do it even better and save more lives.
Wow, that's incredible. So technology has been responsible for upping the game in transplantation. So how long does it usually take for a person to adjust to the new organs, and are they under your specific care until they make a clean adjustment in order to be released from the staff?
So One Legacy's work begins in promoting donation, working with the family to get authorization for donation, getting the organs placed in perfect condition, and the moment the surgeon takes it, they're under the surgeon's care and UCLA's care in this case, as we're talking about, whether it's UCLA or any of the other transplant centers in the town, or if there's not a match here, anywhere in the country. And the surgical team at the hospital will manage that patient. They'll often get the patient up out of bed for certain transplants within a day. And sometimes they'll be home for a kidney transplant. They might be home within 3 days from the time that they're transplanted. So they're very quick. They're probably not out running a marathon in 2 or 3 days, but give them a couple of months.
Is there any condition where it's an immediate thing? Like just say somebody is a talk show host and they need to be on the air at 5 o'clock tomorrow night on Channel 7 or whatever station it is. Would there be a way to get them to expeditiously get them back into their job that quick, or will they just have to bow out?
Oh, not that quick. They need to take a little bit of sick leave. That's going to take a while to recover from the surgery. It's a big surgery no matter what transplant you're getting. It's going to take weeks and months, but I do know of people who've gotten themselves back to work after a kidney transplant within 3 weeks.
Is it because it's a kidney versus a heart?
Kidneys are less stressful surgery and not as significant, but yeah, you can get yourself back to work, but you really ought to take a couple days off before you do that.
Okay, people, so don't be greedy. If you lose some money, it's okay. Your life is more important.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
So, Tom, what can we expect from you and your organization in the next 5 years? Which is one of my questions I'd like to ask. And how can we reach you and find more about Mr. Thomas Moan and your work at UCLA?
So,
Facebook,
yeah.
Twitter,
So
Snapchat.
Our One Legacy has a One Legacy Facebook page. We have onelegacy.org website and One Legacy Foundation website. All One Legacy's has all the information you'd ever want to know about being an organ donor, getting an organ transplant, and some of the innovations that are happening, some of the new treatments, new drugs, these pumps we're talking about, that will make this even more successful in the upcoming years. You can always find us at www.onelegacy.org. And you can also go to donatelifecalifornia.org and register as a donor.
Oh, wow. DonateLifeCalifornia.org, register as a donor, and www.onelegacy.org, people. Okay, this has been Tom Moan, who we've had a pleasure of speaking to, and you're doing a wonderful job. Oh, you guys are amazing.
Thank you so much
amazing
for the
job.
chance.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hey everybody, it's Osiris, your girl with 15 minutes. Okay, I know you know who this man is. Okay, let's hear it. Oh, you don't know? Well, let me tell you. This is Philip Palmer, KABC7 anchorman, and he is so cool to be sitting here. He's also the host tonight for the Ava's Heart Foundation first annual Heroes Ball, and he certainly is a hero. So hey, say hey, Philip.
Hey everybody, it's fun to be here. We were like in this super club here, and I keep waiting on the music to start.
Well, it's supposed to start at the after party for
exactly.
those.
We wouldn't have this interview at that moment because
That's
it'd be
right.
too loud in here.
It would be. But listen, so I know a little bit about you, and from your TV background, I know that you host a lot of things. You said you came from Denver, and then you've been doing KABC7 since 1998. Also, what I found to be intriguing and very, very heartful of you is that you gave your good buddy, good friend, Dale Davis, one of your kidneys. How does it feel to be walking around with one kidney, and how did you run into Ava's heart?
Well, Dale wanted both of them, but I said I got to draw a line here somewhere. Actually, when it comes to being a living organ donor, a living kidney donor, for me, I'm frequently struck by the lack of impact. You know, sometimes I'll be looking in the mirror and I'll be like, wow, you have one kidney. It really, you don't notice it. You don't think about it. You have two, and, you know, I could go into the long explanation of how you're not impacted, in the sense that people always ask me, you know, well, what if you get kidney disease? Well, the medical reasons are usually kidney disease strikes both kidneys. It doesn't strike one or the other. And so anything that you do in life with two kidneys, you can do with one. And after they opened me up and took it out, they said, wow, your kidneys are really large. So I think, okay, great. I had a big, large kidney, and it's all good. So
now, what I found also interesting in the read-up that they have about your giving your kidney to Dale is that he thought, and you thought, I think, but even though it said that you said, I'm going to be the donor, I'm going to be the donor, he thought that other people would be compatible, that it found out that you were the best donor for him. How did that happen?
Well, the reason I knew, I mean, many times, this is such a personal part of the whole story that a lot of times I don't necessarily share it, but
We want to share it on our
we will
15-minute show.
today. My faith is very important to me. I've been a Christian since I was a young person, and I believe in the power of prayer. And I read an article by Sports Illustrated columnist Rick Riley many years ago, and he talked about a living donor. And I talked to my mom, and I prayed about it, and I know me, and I said, you know, my thought was, you know what, God, don't let me forget it. I know this is an emotional moment as I read this article by Rick Riley, and I'm like, I know this is emotional for me, but I don't want to forget it. So I prayed about it, and I filed it away. And it was many, many years later when Dale got sick, I knew and I remembered and I thought about it and I prayed about it again. And when he said, hey man, he's very typical. He didn't want anybody's help. And that's one of the things about people who have kidney disease and many illnesses. They want to handle it on their own.
Because they feel like they're invading.
They don't want to invade people. And Dale was very typical in that he wanted to fight this on his own. But he had a line of friends who all wanted to go and get a blood test. And that's all it is. The first step is just simply to get a blood test.
To make sure you're compatible.
Yeah, to find out if you can do it. And then they go through a series of tests after that. But from the beginning, I said, Dale, this is going to be me. I'm going to be the one. I know I'm going to be the one. And I was. And it was an answer to a prayer for me to be able to help him. And I still believe that while Dale got a second chance at life, I've been given much more because I got to see him be healthy. He's watched his daughter, one of his daughters, get married. Another daughter is now a dancer. And I got to impact a person's life tangibly. I mean, I can say I helped that guy live. And I've been given, and how many of us who pray get to say, I know when God answered a prayer for me, and I get that too. So again, it's a very personal thing. Everybody does their own thing. Everybody has their own reasons for being an organ donor if they are. That was mine, and it was very important to me.
Now let's bring it up to your, wow, what an amazing story, and I wish we had more time. But let's bring it up to another part of you that you don't get to hear about, all the other things that you host. Like he just finished hosting the golf tournament. Where was the golf tournament held?
We had a golf tournament up in Valencia, and it is...
Is it a private event?
It is invitation. Just if you sign up, you can come. It's called the Philip Palmer Invitational, which is a name I hate to call it.
Why? Why is it called Philip Palmer?
I would love for somebody to sponsor it and it be something else. Have it be the Vaughn's, have it be the Duncan Taylor. We have any
Vaughn's, Duncan Taylor, all of you guys out there.
They're wonderful hosts already. I would rather it be called something else because there's going to come a day where I'm not the host of this golf tournament, and I would like the golf tournament to continue because our money goes to Children's Hospital Los Angeles, and right now we've been helping fund research for children who get organ transplants because they face a lifetime of medication, and we want to improve the quality of life for kids who get this second chance with an organ transplant. And so we've developed this 7-year relationship with Children's Hospital, and in 7 years, we started really small, and we're pretty small still, but we're proud of the fact that over 7 years, thanks to our sponsors and the guys that come out and the women that come out and play golf, we've probably made over $700,000, $600,000 to $700,000, and we're growing. And that's what Ava's heart is doing as well. This is her first year.
Her first year.
And if I can help her and she can 7 years from now be able to keep putting families in homes and getting people that first step they need to take to get that organ transplant, I'll do whatever I can.
And the bizarre thing is that, as far as I understand, we interviewed Ava. That's how we met Ava's heart. And her story was so compelling that I had to wow, I want to talk to you, and I want to talk to anyone affiliated with you. It's an absolutely incredible story. And we want people to know how unique Ava's Heart organization is, because as far as I understand, or we understand, she is the only organization of her kind in the United States, which is really sad that this could happen to anyone. Any one of us could need a transplant of any organ. And the fact that she has taken it upon herself to present honorees tonight, Dr. Dang and Mario Dang, his wife Federica Raia, Philip Palmer, who's going to, right here, you with us, you're going to host a show for her. How did you come to meet Ava, and how did you get involved with this particular Heroes Ball?
Well, Ava is part of the organ transplant community, clearly, and she does such good work, and it's a huge community, but it's a small community. And as you mentioned, so many stories are so compelling, and people, really want to hear more when they hear these stories. And the word hero is thrown about. Almost everybody that's involved with something like this, they don't see themselves as a hero. They see themselves as somebody who wanted to help. And we were given an opportunity to help, and so we did. It is a very emotional thing for the families who have lost, and in that loss somehow find a way to help other people. And it is touching, it is emotional, and it's really hard to talk about in many cases. Ava, she's trying to address this little window of problem.
Of a need.
Yeah, because many people don't understand. When you get an organ transplant, there's a lot that goes into it. First off, you have to be very sick. We're talking about we're not talking about a living transplant at this point. We're talking about somebody who has died, and then they are now helping another person with the gift of life. But that other person who's very sick has to go through a lot of process. You have to show that you got a place to live. You have to show that you can, that you're going. A lot of times, you have to show that you're going to be disciplined enough to take the medication after the fact. It's not. It's a complicated process. It's hard. I always say this with anyone who gets sick. You need to be your own advocate. You need to be an advocate as well as your doctor. And in organ donation, when you get sick, if you're sick, you need to not feel sorry for yourself. You need to stand up and tell people that you're sick, and you need to stand up and make sure that you're taking care of yourself, so that the medical issues are in line, that the insurance, Ava's heart, how you can get housing if you need it. I mean, this is some of the people who need the help, and she's stepping in to fill a void that many people don't even know exists.
Absolutely, many people
That's
don't.
the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. And any way I can help.
Aw, you're such a wonderful person. Where does she find all these cool people from in the community?
It's a magnet. She's a magnet for good people.
Well, she has a great
One of them is
personality
right
too.
here,
Aw, you're so sweet. Listen, we gotta go, but before we
Our
leave,
15 minutes is up.
I know.
Come on.
Before we go, we gotta leave because he has to host a show tonight for Ava's Heroes Ball, and also just for the audience, we need to know. Of course, you can see him on KABC, ladies. He is married, so hold your applause. His wife is doing a great job. He's a wonderful person. But you can see him on KABC 7. Also, you can catch him at the golf tournament. The Philip Palmer Golf Tournament in Valencia is going to be in the same place every year.
No, we've moved it around every year. Moved it around every
So
year.
it changes locations, but where can we find?
We have a website, chlagolf.org. So if you ever want to find out about the golf tournament and what we do, that's the website.
What about you as a KBC? Do you have a website that they can go into just to check the news out in case they haven't seen it?
abc7.com. I have a Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram. Come on over.
Snapchat, Periscope, all of
I haven't
those.
figured out Snapchat.
Snapchat is a riot.
I know. I see it, and I know it. People use it.
It's real quick. It's like 10
hard for
seconds
me.
or something.
I know, but I don't really know that there's that much in my life that people want to watch. So
Aw, are you kidding? Just to watch
my
ABC?
son does it. My son does it. He's an expert at it. So
Well, that's what you learn from the kids.
I don't. That's kids these days.
It's been wonderful having, again, Philip Palmer, anchorman for KAB7. We hope to see you for many years to come. You're a
hope so.
very warm, very kind person. And we love having you locally here.
Well,
okay?
I like being here.
All
I
right,
like
say
being here.
bye. Bye.
See you later.
See you later.